Hi, kids, and welcome to Innes Lloyd's 30th anniversary show. This stupid pandemic. Welcome to Innes Lloyd's 31st anniversary show.
And?
All right. Welcome to the Innes Lloyd 31st anniversary of the first episode of The Simpsons to air in Australia, by which we mean 7G02 Season 1, Episode 2, Bar to Genius. Show.
Thank you.
I just don't think it's a catchy title.
Shh, not now.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Until then, I turn things over to our bestest buddy in the whole wide world.
Master Hadgraft.
I want you to treat
Master Hadgraft.
with the same respect as you would treat us. Now here's
Master Hadgraft.
Hello, everybody. I'm your head counselor for this evening, Mr. Hadgraft. I used to be head of Euro in his Lloyd land for 15 years, until it blew up. Well, here he is, Innes Lloyd.
He's really having trouble keeping his balance. He's still funny, but not ha-ha funny.
That is not the real Innes Lloyd.
Well, what do you think? I put a waistcoat on some wino?
Yeah, I saw him, Guinness the Floyd. Hat facts!
That's not working. Get out of here. My friends.
He doesn't have Innes Lloyd. Get him!
Wait, you know, a show without Innes Lloyd is a little bit like a mule without a spinning wheel. Nobody knows how he got it, and danged if he knows how to use it.
Mule.
The name's Hadgraft, Matthew Hadgraft, and I stand before you good folks with an idea. An idea so... Nah, it's not for you. It's more of an Adelaide fringe idea.
Now wait just a minute. We're twice as smart as the people of Adelaide. Just tell us your idea and we'll vote for it.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show you my idea. I give you the Butterfly Club Monorail. I've sold monorails to Sydney, SeaWorld, and Oasis Shopping Center, and by gummit, put those places on the map. Yes, sir, there's nothing in the world like a genuine, bona fide, electrified 6-car monorail. What'd I say?
Monorail!
What's it called?
Monorail.
That's right, monorail. 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 Come on. Monorail. 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 Monorail.
I hear those things are awfully loud.
It glides as softly as a cloud.
Is there a chance the track could bend?
Not on your life, my straight white friend.
What about us brain-dead slubs?
You'll be given cushy jobs.
Were you sent here by the devil?
No good, sir. I'm on the level.
Ring came off my pudding can.
Take my penknife, my good man. I swear it's Melbourne's only choice. Throw up your hands and raise your voice.
Monorail.
What's it called?
Monorail.
Once again.
Monorail. The main tree's still up, cracked and broken. Sorry, Lloyd. The mob is broken.
Good evening, folks. It's the
No, wait a minute.
Monorail.
Lights down. Lights down.
Good evening, folks. I'm actor Matthew Hadgraft. You might remember me from such shows as Peter Allen Gets the Special at Aldi, Elton John and his Enya phase, and How Much Like Her Is Too Much. Welcome to the Innes Lloyd 31st anniversary of Simpsons first airing in Australia show. Now, here are your hosts, Innes Lloyd!
Oh, hi. Oh, hi there. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our somewhat belated Innes Lloyd celebration of Simpsons. Oh, crap. I shouldn't have said it was a belated. Oh, it's too hot today. Joining me, as always, I'm always delighted to have with me Hank Scorpio himself, a man who has said goodbye to a shoe, Mr. Rob Lloyd.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Or should I say, tonight, we'll be celebrating 31 years of The Simpsons airing in Australia tonight and giving you interesting facts about the show, or as we like to call them, fun facts. tonight.
And of course, there'll be opportunities for audience interaction too. Ooh. Yes, that's right. You can show off your Simpsons knowledge, not just to the polite co-workers around you, but amongst your fellow kind.
And what better way to get involved with an audience is with a sing-along! And because of that, we have on keys, doing the deficit rag himself, yes, the one and only Matthew Hadgraft! And we also have on guitar, Bleeding Gums Christian Bizzarri!
Thank you, and operating sound and lights tonight, it's Jacqueline, the House of Painter Petalon!
And of course, we can't do this without the wonderful people. That is, of course, you guys, the audience. As just a show of noise and applause, please applaud if you have seen an Innes Lloyd show before.
Round of applause if you've never seen an Innes Lloyd show before.
We don't know what we've brought ourselves into.
Welcome to one of the most well-rehearsed performances you will ever see. Anyway, moving along, let's find out what kind of level of Simpsons fans we have here. We'll start at the very lowest level, all right? These are newbies to The Simpsons. Maybe you never watched it all, maybe you weren't allowed to, and maybe you just learnt the quotes from your friends at school and tried to fit in with all the cool kids, or maybe your parents wouldn't let you watch it, or maybe you're a member of the exclusive Brethren cult. Gosh, it's hard to get the tongue around, isn't it?
Hey. All right, they said that in the cult as well.
All right. So, if you're at that newbie level, repeat after me. You're going to say, like you know, whatever. 1, 2, 3.
Like you know.
Well, there's a few people.
I don't know why we're hearing it from someone on stage. Oh, crap.
Now, perhaps you are the casual viewer, so you might know a few quotes there, here or there. You know what an aurora borealis is, but you're not sort of like knows every line to the See My Best song. If you are this sort of casual viewer of The Simpsons, I want you to call out, Smithers, who is that blubber pot? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Smithers, who is that blubber pot?
Oh, excellent. Okay, let's find out who are the Uber fans. Yeah, who likes drive share apps? Oh, God. Fair enough too. That's a good political comment we've just made right there, so well done everybody. All right, I don't know what's more shocking, that no one cheers at Uber or no one made a sound at all.
Like a shovel?
No, dig up, stupid. Yes, we can find out who the Uber fans are, okay? Who knows that purple is actually a fruit, what's the other one? I really want to get this one. It's really cool. Jimbo's real name is Corky. And also, are you going to be kind of like the 3 nerds who live with Homer when he goes back to college? And you're so much a nerd, you're interrupting me right now to say, well, actually, they didn't actually live together. They just tutored Homer right there. If you're one of those people, you don't need to repeat after me. You just have to call and respond to this statement. Dental plan!
Reese's braces!
Dental plan!
Reese's braces!
Dental plan!
Reese's braces!
Well done. Oh, and if you're a Dalek, dental plan!
Lisa needs braces!
Well, you talk the talk, Quimby, but do you walk the walk?
Settle down, Innes. That could be anyone's ass.
Robert Underdunk Lloyd, I think it's time for a fiendishly challenging Fiendish Trivia Challenge.
Yes! We are going to test you. You may think that you are good at The Simpsons, but the best way to do it is to come up with a bit of a trivia quiz right now. And we need three volunteers with your chance to win 2 prizes. First one being one of these fabulous gifettes over here, courtesy of Pop Vinyl right there. You don't need to clap the Pop Vinyls, but thank you for the oohs. So I'm going to go out to the audience and try and get 3 volunteers. This is going to be great.
Of course, the second prize being that your knowledge that you are smart, SMRT.
Who'd like to volunteer? Who'd like to test their mettle with The Simpsons right here? People aren't even looking at me. You're really going for that defensive. Don't look at him. He won't see us. Okay? It's like, Jurassic Park all over again. You don't move. You won't see us. I am a T-Rex. T-Rex are fun. Oh, crap. We're only on for an hour. Please, for God's sake, I need a volunteer. Yes, thank you very much for volunteering. That's one. Yes. Another one. All right. And one more. I take pity, please. One more.
lose. So tonight's round is all about Simpsons song lyrics. The way this works is that we're going to be making our way one line at a time through the iconic song, Who Needs the Quickie Mart? And whoever makes the least stumbles or bumbles or things like that will be the winner and will be showered with praise, and the loser will be taunted and booed until our throats are sore.
Yep, and you're already up on stage, you can't get off.
I said. So just so you get the indication of what a line means, if the song was saying, and every day this is what I say, and every day is the first line, and this is what I say is the second line, so a line does not have two rhymes in it. Okay? So if that makes sense?
Everybody got that?
A line does not have two rhymes in it. But I will start you off, and what we'll do is we'll go from left to right. Left. We'll go from left, and much like the United States of America Supreme Court, move our way to the right.
We wrote that joke a couple of months ago. We didn't know it would land on the worst day in American history.
Simpsons predicted it.
I could have looked it out wrong. When I say the worst day in American history, they just keep on coming. They don't outdo themselves.
It's like an advent calendar for terrible. What's up then? Tour number 12. Alright! Okay, so I'm going to start with the first lyric and then we'll move our way around. So the first line of this song goes, you see whether igloo, hut or lean-to or a geodesic dome.
Line.
I will say, if you don't know, you're welcome to say pass. Pass. The line was, there's no structure I have been to which I'd rather call my home. Next line.
Pass.
When I first arrived, you were all such jerks. Now, next line.
Now I see you as delightful.
What?
Quirk? No, you'll see yours like.
That's what it is!
I will give half a point. But now I've come.
Oh, sure, you call out the answers.
But now I've come to love your quirks. That is lovely. Next line. Pass. Maggie with her eyes so bright. Next one. So Maggie with her eyes so bright.
Lisa?
No. I will give you a starting keep on. Marge.
Marge with her hair so tight.
What was it?
What?
Marge with hair by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Do you want to say that?
Marge with hair by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Next line. Starts with Lisa.
Pass.
Lisa can philosophize. And the next line starts with Bart. Pass. What is an audience?
Bart's adept at telling lies.
Oh, yes, I think given what we've got here, I think stealing is fine.
We'll take whatever we can.
Alright, whoever can go for the next one. So Bart's attempt at spinning lines. Whoever knows the next one.
Very well.
What is it?
You're a delightful fella.
Oh, yes, Homer's a delightful fella.
This guy's got it.
Give that guy a point.
That's okay. Well, I can tell you, at the end of that round, we've got a distinct winner with 2.5 points.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Wonderful job. Round of applause for our volunteers. Yeah. And our very learned heckler down the front. Well done. I love Innes Lloyd shows because we always get really smart heckles that are really obscure references. I love it.
I don't want to come up, but I want to say the answers from my seat.
That's the Uber fan right there. Excellent. So after that joyous occasion, it's now time for a protest song. march to a prom. The girls and the fellas will fight to the death for us fall like umbrellas. So we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plan, but we have the power. So much day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plan, but we have the power. So we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plan, but we have the power.
Look at them all through the darkness I'm bringing. They're not sad at all. They're actually singing. They sing without juicers. They sing without blenders. They sing without flungers, cab dabblers, and smendlers. Do tell Simpson I'm ready to deal.
Now play classical gas. Christian Bizzarri! Matthew Hadgraft! Wow. Gee, that's exhausting. Now, to do a Simpsons show and cover all the history of it is a bit redundant because basically all the fans and pretty much just passers-by to The Simpsons know all the facts, but in true Innes Lloyd fashion, we're going to try and find some interesting, fun facts and tidbits for you all right now about the history of The Simpsons.
That's right. In America, The Simpsons first aired on December the 17th, 1989. Matt Groening created The Simpsons in the image of his own family, Homer, Marge, Lisa, and Maggie. Bart was simply an anagram of the word brat. His Norwegian-American mother, Margaret Ruth Groening, maiden name Wiggum. You always know where they were at the fan reunions because there was that large group of people going, wah! His Canadian-born Russian Mennonite father was Homer Philip Groening, and he was a filmmaker, advertiser, writer, and director.
Now, Matt Groening created a comic strip called Life in Hell, which he originally sold copies of out of the window of his record store where he worked. After eventually getting published right across America in newspapers, the strip caught the attention of Hollywood writer, producer, and Gracie Films founder James L. Brooks. Who had been shown the strip by fellow producer Polly Platt. In 1985, Brooks contacted Groening with a proposition of working in animation, specifically developing a series of shorts called Bumpers for the Fox variety show, The Tracy Ullman Show. Now, originally Brooks wanted Groening to adapt his Life in Hell characters for the show, but Groening was a bit worried that he'd lose control or ownership of them, so he conceived the idea of The Simpsons in the lobby of James L. Brooks's office, which of course created that famous song,
Let's all go to the lobby, let's all go to the lobby, let's all go to the lobby, and pitch an idea to James L. Brooks. Now, The Simpsons was co-developed by Groening, Brooks, and we've got Sam Simon here, who unfortunately passed away in the early 2000s from cancer, and he was a writer that James L. Brooks had worked before and was known for his reputation of being able to make real good three-dimensional... Real good characters. Said the writer. He was able to make, I suppose, two-dimensional characters really three-dimensional, and his jokes were not about one-liners, but from the character within. He has been known about bringing a level of honesty, and perhaps even more so in his work, as he frequently clashed with the people he worked with. He had a notoriously prickly relationship with Matt Groening. In fact, for those huge Simpsons fans out there who knows the story of Flaming Moe's, where Homer pitches a drink to Moe that eventually sends him superstardom, a lot of people have said that in that story it's an allegory that Homer is Sam Simon and Moe is Matt Groening. That without Sam Simon, Matt Groening would not have had the success he has had today. But the main thing that Sam Simon saw about The Simpsons was there was an opportunity to fix what he hated about Saturday morning cartoons.
Now, it is noted that the original starting episode was supposed to be the Babysitter Bandit-centered episode Some Enchanted Evening. But when the animation was finished, over 70% of it was unwatchable and had to be entirely redone.
Well, definitely Marge is having some sort of enchanted evening, I think, right there.
And as you can see, the nuclear power plant is hovering in the clouds right there. So if the next episode, which they did air as the first one, Bart the Genius, had suffered the same fate, the whole series would have been junked. Spoilers, it wasn't.
Now, one of the things that's in the contracts that James L. Brooks set up from the very beginning is that Fox, and likely now Disney, are not able to interfere at all with the show. In fact, they wrote a whole episode taking the piss out of it, because at one point Fox did try to go and suggest, well, maybe, you should get a new character to jazz things up, which is, of course, death to any TV series. So, of course, we had the Itchy and Scratchy Poochie show, which, of course, Poochie was later killed off. I don't know what happened to Roy, though. What happened to Roy?
He went off to find some sexy ladies.
That's right, yeah. Now, an animator came up with the idea of The Simpsons' yellow skin, and as soon as they presented it to Groening, he said, that's the answer, because when you're flicking through channels and there's a flash of yellow on the screen, you know you're watching The Simpsons.
Now, some interesting character tidbits. Now, in the title sequence, when Maggie is scanned through the cash register, the number that comes up is not NRA Forever, but rather it is the price amount of $847.63, because that was the average cost of a baby in 1989 per month. Yes.
To buy one, or?
Not like a baby shop. It wasn't like, excuse me, shopkeep, I would like £1 of your finest baby, please.
Can we rate it?
No, but to keep them, alive. That was the, Oh, it's too hot today.
To keep it alive.
That's not what you do.
To keep it alive.
No, personally.
You sound like you're offering a ransom. Give me $847 to keep this baby alive.
I had $847. I just can't get the 63 cents. Homer and Krusty were originally intended to be the same person. That's why they're designed so similarly. But then the idea behind that was just got far too nutty cuckoo bananas, and they decided to drop that idea. But we also got over there Nelson Muntz with his famous laugh, of course. Very good. Very good. That's what we like. Well cued pointing and laughing. Now, this was inspired by a moment where Matt Groening was at an airport and had to go and get led away to be strip searched. And he said the most humiliating thing about the entire experience at the airport being dragged away by officials was there was a little kid who pointed at him and said, ha, in that way. And that was ever pasted into the album of his memory.
Indeed, but we all know the real reason that it ever got made is because just about everyone associated with The Simpsons are stonecutters. In fact, believe Nancy Cartwright is the biggest stonecutter of them all.
Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do. Who leads the landers off the maps? Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do. We do. Who holds back the electric car? Who raised T. Gutenberg a star? We do. We do. Who helps give fish off their sight? Who rings every Oscar night? We do. We do. Who supports Murdoch bailouts? Who slows down vaccine rollouts? We do. We do. Who renews their foresight? Who abuses copyright? We do. We do.
Now let's get drunk and play ping pong.
What's up next, Mr. Innes?
And now time to have a look at the cast.
Yes. Let's start off first with Dan Castellaneta, the voice behind Homer Simpson, Abe Simpson, Krusty the Clown, Barney Gumble, Groundskeeper Willie, Mayor Quimby, and many, many others. So many others, he actually voices more characters than any other voiceover actor on The Simpsons. Dan Castellaneta, round of applause right there! Now, he met his wife at an improv class. Homer's famous Joel is written in the script as Annoyed Grunt, and it is still written as Annoyed Grunt. basically because the writers are so annoyed that it became such a thing when Dan came up with the idea of the annoyed grunt being "do." Now, he based it on Jimmy Phillison's "do" from the Laurel and Hardy films. Dan practices Tai Chi, is a vegetarian, a teetotaler, and exercises regularly.
Next one.
It's called acting, people.
Who would do that, right?
I know. I think people are laughing because it's very specific information I've given about Dan. I know, because I watched him for a week.
You just wanted to get Castellaneta better acquainted.
Am I right?
Next. Ladies and gentlemen, the sound of a dying Hadgraft. Our next cast member that we'll talk about is Julie Kavner, who does the voices of Marge, her sisters, and mother. Now, it was first got attention of Julie Kavner when she won her Emmy in 1978 for the role of Brenda Morgenstern in the sitcom Rhoda.
Any fans of Rhoda in the house? Well, we won't be doing that tribute show next year.
But she also got her next Emmy playing Marge in the episode I Married Marge. Now, Kavner is a notorious recluse. Even her closest friends actually don't know where she lives. She's also got a clause in her contract where she doesn't have to go and do the Marge voice anywhere in public, to the point where, because she believes it breaks the fourth wall, and she's very, and she was on a episode of David Letterman where she was explaining that she felt like as soon as you do the voice in front of people, it shatters the illusion.
Oh, well, I'm sure Dave Letterman would have responded in an erudite and calm and a pleasing way.
I believe he said, "That's a lot of crap, do the voice." To which she did, but she turned her head around to face the back of the studio and did it so that no one could actually see her face doing it. There's also a weird James Lipton actor behind the actor studio where she does something similar and then just vanishes halfway through. But she is apparently, beside all that slight kookiness, she is known as one of the most ego-free and best actors to work with.
Now, let's have a look at Nancy Cartwright. She voices Bart Simpson, Ralph Wiggum, Nelson Muntz, Todd Flanders, Maggie Simpson, Database, and Kearney. She's also done voiceovers for many other cartoons, specifically Chucky from Rugrats. Hey! Yeah, hey! Oh, my type of crowd. Now, it's with great irony for her first film appearance in the movie version of The Twilight Zone back in 1986. That's the Joe Dante segment, which is based on the It's a Happy Life.
It's a Good Life.
It's a Good Life. Thank you very much for correcting me on that. In her segment, she gets trapped inside a cartoon and is devoured by an unspeakable horror. Unrelated, she's a Scientologist.
Now, Yardley Smith was born in Paris, France, and raised in Washington, D.C. In the US. She became a professional actress and graduated drama school in 1982. The Lisa is the only character she plays, and she's one of the only cast members to have just one character. She was originally auditioned for the role of Bart because the producers thought she had a funny voice, but then she and Nancy switched, and she had been battling for many, many years with bulimia, and she finally was able to recover from it in the early 2000s.
And her best roles of her actually being in front of the camera is from Herman's Head. And she's also got a small little role in City Slickers. So yeah, I think that's really, yeah. I'm late. I missed my period. It makes more sense if you've seen the movie. Maybe I should think before I speak. Moving on. Hank Azaria. Oh, Mr. Azaria. There he is, the Blue Raja himself, which is the Hindu word for sovereignty. He does the voice of Mo, Chief Wiggum, comic book guy, Snake, and formerly many non-white characters like Apu, Lou, Carl, and Bumblebee Man. He got the role of Mo after replacing another voice actor, Christopher Collins, despite having very little to no voice-over experience. He also, one of his most iconic roles is doing Frank Grimes, who he was just meant to fill in during the read-through. They were going to get like a special guest star, but he did such a good job in the read-through, they gave him the role. And there's some of his most iconic performances, the forgettable appearance in Godzilla, and the very...
Not so forgettable appearance.
And the not forgettable at all, his wonderful Agador Spartacus. I do not wear shoes. They make me fall down in the birdcage. Oh, Hank Azaria, round of applause right there.
Next we have Harry Shearer, who voices Mr. Burns, Moylan Smithers, Principal Skinner, Ned Flanders, Reverend Lovejoy, and Ken Brockman. He's of course known for such mockumentaries as This Is Spinal Tap and A Mighty Wind, and in fact will be appearing at the Adelaide Guitar Festival in character from the This Is Spinal Tap. Yes, woo indeed. He will be in a locale close to us. But one of his first roles on television was playing Jack Benny as a child in the Jack Benny program. Shearer has ended up being one of the most critical cast members on the show, where he will openly say how crap it's become. And whenever there's any sort of story about there's a pay dispute, it's always followed by, and Harry Shearer's going to be fired. He always comes back. And what was it? Where does he record now?
Oh, he just records from his podcast studio at home. He doesn't even come to the studio anymore. He's just like, I'll do it when I got time.
The lazy Harry Shearer!
We didn't applaud Julie Kavner and Yardley Smith.
A round of applause for both of them as well. For Julie and, Yardley. Yeah. I mentioned Herman's head, so that does it, yeah. And let's not talk about the City Slickers reference. All right. Other voice talent we have on the show is Pamela Hayden, who voices Millhouse, Rod Flanders, Jimbo Jones, and Sarah Wiggum. There's Tress McNeil, who's the voice of Mom in Futurama. She plays Agnes Skinner, Crazy Cat Lady, and Lindsay Nagel. Maggie Roswell, who left for a period of time because of a pay dispute. That's why they killed off her most famous character, Maud Flanders. But she also does Helen Lovejoy and Miss Hoover and the late Russie Taylor. Yes, the voice of Minnie Mouse. She voiced Martin Prince, Sherry and Terry, and Uta. I begged you to look at mine first. I begged you. Do not make me run. I'm full of chocolate. And now I'll do the impression of the character. Now, there have been a number of guest stars who have made regular appearances on the program. We've got Joe Mantegna, who plays Fat Tony. He's notorious for stating in every interview, he will voice Fat Tony even if there was just like one word in the episode. He will come in and do that line. We have the late Marsha Wallace, who played Edna Krabappel. So she is actually...
Krabappel? I've been calling her Crandall. I look like an idiot.
She's actually, technically, and here's a trivia fact for you, she is the first ever special guest star. Yes. So she is the first credited special guest star, Marsha Wallace. Yes. Because a lot of people might think, it's Michael Jackson. It might be Dustin Hoffman. It's Marsha Wallace. She was also on Match Game.
Any Rhoda fans in the house?
We've also got Kelsey Grammer as Sideshow Bob. Hello, Bud. I shall send you to heaven before I send you to hell. Love when people join in. And he based that voice on a theatrical ham named Ellis Rabb. Now, we've got John Lovitz there as Llewellyn Sinclair, amongst many other different characters as well. And then we've got Brad Goodman there at the bottom, best known for Hank Scorpio.
Yeah, Albert Brooks.
Oh, Albert, what did I say?
You called him Brad Goodman.
Oh, did I call Brad Goodman?
He was so good, you believed he was Brad Goodman.
I did believe he was Brad Goodman. Albert Brooks, who played Brad Goodman and also played Hank Scorpio and also played Jacques in the first one. It is not quite breakfast, it is not quite lunch, but it will come with a side of cantaloupe on the end. But yes, often he improvises a lot of his dialogue, and studio executives and things struggle to actually cut it down, unlike us.
Yes, our Innes Lloyd show. Now, we can't end our discussion of voiceover talent on The Simpsons without discussing the spectacular talent, lest we forget the mighty, wonderful Phil Hartman. Right there. Yep. Voiced Lionel Hutz, Troy McClure, and many others. Phil was an outstanding comedian and versatile performer, an amazing improviser, and he was a member of Saturday Night Live during their golden era of the show. He was tragically killed by his wife in a murder-suicide in 1998, and Groening would name the character of Fry in Futurama, Philip J. Fry, in honor of Phil Hartman. Round of applause for Phil Hartman right there.
Now, many big-name celebrities have appeared on The Simpsons. Of course, we had the wonderful Dustin Hoffman as Mr. Bergstrom. You are Lisa Simpson. We've got Glenn Close as Homer's mother, Mona Simpson, which, again, another beautiful performance. We've got Danny DeVito, who played Herb Powell in a phenomenal episode. So he was so good that the writers wanted him back. He came back for a second episode and kind of just phoned it in, and everyone was very disappointed. But no one can forget, playing Leon Kompowski, the insane asylum inmate, was, of course, Michael Jackson. Singing, conditions apply, singing voice not included. Fun fact, he had an official impersonator. If he ever had to go and be on a TV show where he had to sing, someone would actually sing for him, and a fellow by the name of Kip Lennon. But from that episode, Stark Raving Dad, everybody, here is Lisa, it's your birthday.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Lisa, it's your birthday. God bless you this day. You gave me the gift of a little sister, and I'm proud of you today. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. I wish you love and goodwill. I wish you peace and joy. I wish you better than your heart desires and your first kiss from a boy. Or whoever you want to kiss. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa.
All right, now let's move to The Simpsons in Australia. Innes, how did it all begin?
Well, in Australia, The Simpsons was broadcast on the 10 network and affiliates. What was the name of the 10 network up in New South Wales?
Capital, that's entertainment. You're welcome.
And it had to be literally said like that every time too. And it ended up being one of 10's best performers, and normally would come first or second in its trying time slot, initially on Sundays at 7:30, and then it moved around.
Now, by 1994, it was such a hit on Channel 10, or Capital. They had to air the show 5 nights a week, first at 6 p.m, and then the following year, in 1995, at 7 p.m.
Now, Foxtel, meanwhile, has been broadcasting The Simpsons uncut and in order almost since its inception on Fox 8. And, of course, by the mid-2000s, many a kid who was luxurious enough to grow up with Foxtel will remember many a lazy Saturday morning or Super Simpsons Saturday.
Now, many can argue that the impact of The Simpsons, especially in the 90s, was greater in Australia than it was back in America, simply because of lack of choice. Here in Australia, most people didn't have the money for Foxtel, or dare I say, Galaxy TV, or if you're in regional Australia, Ozstar. Yeah. Why am I not surprised at regional? Ozstar! Get it up, yeah. All right. So we didn't have much choice, in Australia. As children, we only watched like one channel, if best, out of the 4 or 5. Channel 31 doesn't count. But in America, The Simpsons was only exclusively shown on cable TV, and there was far more variety and choice of things for them to view.
So now let's take a little break from talking about The Simpsons, and courtesy of a lovely friend of mine, Toby Wilkins, who could not be here, he provided this wonderful backing track. Let's talk a little bit about softball. Well, Mr. Burns had done it, the power plant had won it, with Roger Clemens clucking all the while. Mike Scotia's tragic illness made us smile. Well, Wade Boggs lay unconscious on the barroom tile. We're talking softball.
From Maine to San Diego,
talking softball. Mattingly and Canseco, Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw.
Steve Sachs and his running with the law.
We're talking Homer, Ozzy and the Straw. We're talking softball.
From
Ken Softball,
Mattingly and Canseco,
Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw,
Steve Sachs and his running with the law.
we're talking Homer, Ozzy and the Straw, Ozzy and the Straw.
Yes. So now, obviously, The Simpsons have had a huge impact in Australia as well, but also thanks to this wonderful invention that we call the internet. After all, they have the internet on computers now. There's been a force of memes all created from The Simpsons, and of course, one of those most well-known memes is steamed hams.
So tonight, we're going to do one of my favourite segments. What does that say? An audience reenactment. Oh, this is always death. Anyway, we're going to need 2 volunteers from the audience to reenact the steamed ham scene. We need someone to play Seymour Skinner and someone to play Super Nintendo Chalmers. So I'm going to cut. Oh, and this went so well last time. Oh, we've got a hand up already.
Hey! It's us, Star Guy.
Excellent.
The liquor's kicked in.
All right, I'll give you those. And we need one more volunteer to come up and be a volunteer to win a fabulous prize. We've got one. This wonderful man. Join them up here. Anyone it all? We're quickly running out of time. Right. You're volunteering something else this time. This guy. Absolutely not the new one. Beautiful stuff. First, you get to choose. Would you like to be Seymour or would you like to be Chalmers? Chalmers it is. Excellent stuff. And there you go. And your name is, sir?
Casey.
Casey, and your name is? I know, yes. Go with the illusion. Your name is? Phil. Correct, Phil, right there. All right, would you care to share what we're going to be doing this format?
That's right. So what was going to happen is that Lloyd will be playing a variety of different sound effects and noises. I'll be on stage directions, and the lovely Mr. Hadgraft will be on keys.
Now, as always, with the narration, there's only one style to do the narration in. The greatest narration style of all, Ringo Starr from Thomas the Tank Engine.
It was a beautiful day on the island of Springfield. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. The Superintendent Chalmers rang the doorbell.
Ding dong!
Well, Seymour, I made it despite your directions. Superintendent Chalmers, welcome. I hope you're prepared for nothing to give a little lunch to. Yeah.
Principal Skinner runs to the kitchen, only to find his roast is burnt and gasps in horror.
Oh, it can't. My roast is ruined, but what if
He looked out the window and noticed Krusty Burger.
I ordered to purchase fast food and disguise it as my own cooking? Delightfully devilish.
Principal Skinner extended his leg and began to defenestrate. But suddenly, there stood Superintendent Chalmers. He didn't look terribly pleased at all.
Skinner with his crazy explanations. Superintendent's gonna need his medication. When he hears Skinner's lame exaggeration, there'll be trouble in town tonight.
Superintendent, I was just stretching my calves on the windowsill.
He lied.
Is a metric exercise care to join me?
Smoke was coming out of the oven.
Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? Uh-oh! That isn't smoke, it's steam.
He lied.
Steam from the steam pans we're having.
He lied.
Steam pans.
Chalmers narrowed his eyes and then exited from whence he came. Principal Skinner breathed a sigh of relief.
Phew.
He breathed. He then completed the defenestration that was interrupted earlier. He runs across to the Krusty Burger, accompanied by cartoon-like running music. Principal Skinner then enters the dining room with a large platter of hamburgers. The superintendent tucked in his napkin.
Superintendent, I hope you're ready for some mouth-watering hamburgers.
I thought we were having steamed clams.
No, I said steam hams. That's what I call the hamburgers.
Steamed hams.
Yes, it's a regional dialect.
What region?
Upstate New York.
Really? Well, I'm from Utica, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed hams.
Well, not in Utica, no. It's an Albany expression.
I see.
The tension in the room was awkward. The superintendent took a bite from his burger, chewing thoroughly.
Nom nom.
Principal Skinner sipped from his drink.
You kid. My mouth's very dry. You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger.
Oh, no. Hamburgers. Oh, family recipe.
He lied.
Steamed hams.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed hams despite the fact they are obviously grilled.
You know, old thing, I should excuse me for 1 second.
Oh.
Skinner enters the kitchen from which clouds of smoke were pouring out. As the door swings open, it is clear that the interior chamber was now red with the burning hot flames from the untended oven. Skinner's incompetence may bring the end of the kitchen as we know it. Skinner returns, stretching his arms over his head.
Well, that was wonderful. A good time was had my own. I'm pooped.
Yes, I should be. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis! At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen. May I see it?
Having now said the best lines from the scene, Skinner escorts Superintendent Chalmers to the front door of the house. An unseen Agnes Skinner wails from an unseen interior room.
Seymour! The house is on fire!
No, Ma. It's just the northern lights.
Well, Seymour, you're an odd fellow, but I must say, you steam over here.
As Chalmers walks down the front lawn path, Agnes screams for help.
Help! Help!
This causes Chalmers to look back towards the house. Skinner gives him a thumbs up and a fake smile. With this simple reassurance, Chalmers walks away. Once Chalmers is out of sight, Skinner rushes back into the house to deal with the fire. I hope he learned his lesson, don't you?
You get to choose which one. Do you the Nelson, do you the Wiggum, or do you the Barney? Nelson! Yeah. Which one would you like? Barney or Chief Wiggum? Wow! That was wonderful. I take it all back.
It was like watching the episode.
Oh dear. Well, we're on to our next segment.
Stop! My friends, stop! Sure, we could go on to more of the show. Stop! Sure, we could keep going with the show, but we'd be going on without a part of ourselves.
What?
You could close down Moe's or the Quickie Mart, and nobody would care. But the heart and soul of Springfield's in our Maison Derriere. Where the sauce on your steak, where the cheese in your cake. We put the spring in Springfield.
Where the lace on the nightgown, the point after touchdown.
Yes, we put the spring in Springfield.
That little extra spice that makes existence extra nice. That kitty little thrill
major quarrels with your total lack of morals.
Our skimpy costumes ain't so bad. They seem to entertain you, Dad. The gin in your martini, the clams on your linguine. We bought the in Springfield.
Remember our first visit?
The service was exquisite.
Why, Innes? I had no idea.
Come on now, Matt, you're working here. Without it, we'd have had no fun since March of 1961.
To shut them down now would be twisted.
We just heard this place existed.
Something with a hairdo, sorry.
Melbourne's lefty world.
So don't take them.
We won't take them.
Let's keep them in Springfield.
Now, it's no secret that The Simpsons have greatly impacted the world, but its impact in Australia is immense.
In fact, anything from the last several federal elections in Australia have had some sort of reference to The Simpsons in protests and marches and references online. There is that wonderful Facebook, The Simpsons Against the Liberals, which is known for having more impacting posts than either political party. There's also the reference in every protest, including the most recent one, the teachers' strike in New South Wales. And there's also a great page called CompuGlobal Hypermeganet, with many of my friends who end up spending their time creating memes on there. So many memes, in fact, that once upon a time even I ended up on there many years ago, dressed as the Cayman Islands guy.
Now, let's talk about it. Bart versus Australia is a great example of an episode that has influenced Australians. When it initially aired, there was a lot of controversy, and Australians were not too fond of the incredibly backward interpretation of our nation. Now, Matt Groening has said that he wasn't overtly keen on the episode or the idea of a factually inaccurate representation of Australia, but that was the writer's intention. But since then, Australians, like myself, have embraced the episode with pride, and we love it. We use it for memes, for quoting to bag out politicians or satirize current events. There's even been a petition to change our currency to dollary-doos.
If you haven't already subscribed, we'd highly recommend the two wonderful gentlemen from Geelong who do Four Finger Discount. They operate a page on Facebook, but also a podcast where they review episodes in incredible detail. JB Hi-Fi, of course. You cannot walk past a Simpsons drawing trying to sell you things. Don't forget that when the Sydney Monorail went down, oh wow, that was a day for every Simpsons fan to go, ha ha ha, I could quote too. And of course, even our own craft beer, that was the word I was trying to remember what it was. Our own craft beer industry has been influenced with such brands as Old Man Yells at Clouds.
But let's look at how The Simpsons has influenced us personally. So, Innes, share how it's impacted you.
Well, there's many ways, but I probably will stick to mainly as a teacher. So when I first started teaching, it was a way to be hip and with it with the kids. As a huge fan. When my very first Year 11 chemistry class I ever taught, I remember precisely that there was a whole lot of Simpsons fans. One of the most common references was, "The goggles, they do nothing." We'd laugh, and then I'd be the responsible one to say, "No, but please put the goggles on." Whenever there was a having to do one of those student surveys where they had to rate the teaching, I always channeled sort of Roger Myers Jr., who would yell at the kids, go, "This is why you're kids, 'cause you're stupid. Just tell me what's wrong with the freaking class and make me change it." But I knew the day had come where the references were no longer relevant. Is when I was taking an extra for a Year 7 class. And this little Year 7 asked me, "Mr. Innes, why is purple a fruit?" You could pinpoint the exact point where my heart breaks in two.
Your favourite episodes?
Oh, and of course my favourite episodes are Springfield, or how learned to stop worrying and love legalized gambling. I call him Gambler. I also absolutely adore the Homer versus the City of New York. If anything, for that final image, there's a "we'll see, honey, we'll see." And Treehouse of Horror 5, which has the shinning, Time and Punishment, and Nightmare Cafeteria. Oh, I'm bad at this.
Now, for me, I'm a child of the 90s, so I specifically remember all the hullabaloo that was going on when the first Simpsons episode aired on Channel 10. Sorry, where I was from, Capitol. And I remember sitting down to watch Bart the Genius, and I was a bit but as each episode went along, I became hooked. And as being an artistic, dramatic type in country New South Wales, the only way I could really communicate with other people that I went to school with was through the Simpsons quote. And my best friend Naomi and I used to quote it every day. Specifically, the pimply guy who works at the taco store. "Oh, I dropped your taco in the deep fryer. I'll get it. Oh, I've got your taco, sir.
I don't want it.
But this comes out of my salary. If I had a girlfriend, she'd kill me." I remember I was in my first year of uni, and the last great moment of The Simpsons that I remember everyone getting excited about was the final episode of Who Shot Mr. Burns, which was actually the first episode of the new season. And I remember it was my first year of uni, and we all gathered around the student union and watched the communal TV to watch it live as it went out on Channel 10 Capital. But after that, I kind of faded out of watching The Simpsons, only popping in every once in a while. My favourite episodes include Marge versus the Monorail. I should never have stopped for that haircut. Sorry. Also, I'm a big fan of I Love Lisa, which has got my favourite one-off character who should return, because he's pretty much me when I was in high school. Rex, the actor, who's there going, when he doesn't get the part of George Washington, "What? Everyone knows I'm the greatest actor in this pathetic school.
Sit down, Rex.
I will not sit down. Someone has got you, you deceitful cow." And then when he has to play the role of the servant later on in the episode, "Your broth, sir."
I ask for no broth. Be away with you, lest my cane meet your backside.
Yes. And finally, I'm a huge fan of You Only Move Twice because of course, my favourite character, Hank Scorpio. Mr. Matthew Hadgraft.
Oh, me, hi. So I was one of those students in school. I was about 10 years old when The Simpsons came out, and I vividly remember it being 7:30 on a Sunday because I was a very holy choir boy at the time. So we had to race home from Evensong to try and catch the beginning of it. And my sister loathed The Simpsons from the get-go, probably because I liked it. So it was her job to record the beginning of The Simpsons. She took her cue from our car arriving at the house. So I didn't think it was that boring. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll just continue if anyone else wants to leave, I mean, now's a good time, but you might catch the first 5 minutes of The Simpsons that I never got to see. The Simpsons is the only show ever responsible for me giggling so much that I was sent out of choir. And the two things are how Bart used to ring the bar and get Mo to call out the name. And this one in question, "Jockstrap!" So funny for a kid. And also, "Reverend Lovejoy, you've come to comfort me?" "Yes, I have, Bard." There. Honestly, it was the best show for me growing up. My grade 5 teacher even gave me his Bart figurine keyring. Yeah, and when I was an adult, he got arrested for being a pedophile. It wasn't funny at the time either. I know. So my favourite 3 episodes are when Mr. Burns loses his teddy bear, that's gold, when Lisa becomes a vegetarian, and also, because Mum and Dad love it so much as well, when Marge auditions for the musical version of A Streetcar Named Desire. But more on that later. Christian Bizzarri.
Hey, well, let me see here. Talks about Simpsons growing up.
That means...
Oh, sorry, it's a direction. Yes, sorry.
That's your line.
So I had to think back to The Simpsons, and it was a strange situation where I'm like, I don't remember a time before The Simpsons. And I just always accepted it was there, accepted that it happened, it was going to keep happening, and how right I was that it was just going to keep happening.
As of May this year, 728 episodes.
But favourite episodes, ooh boy. Well, I like some of the. I know season 1's a bit of a dark horse now, but I like the one where Bart gets an F. I think that's a sweet episode. Season 2 is the other one I was thinking of with what happens in that?
It was the one with the thing.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Big fan. And and the Duff Brewery one is just so great. I think it's a very sweet episode with Selma and has some great little moments in there with the family.
Yeah, that's right.
give her these and these and these.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Oh, I'm not a doctor. And of course, Innes Lloyd, our shows would not be the way they are without being incredibly influenced by The Simpsons. Almost every one of our shows has some sort of reference in there as well.
And in fact, in everyday conversation as well, when there's something really positive that we both agree on, we both go,
Miss.
So it's influenced us in so many ways. Now we've come to the end of the show, and the best way to end it was I know, with a bit of a musical treat. And when it comes to the musical hits on The Simpsons, it's all because mostly of this man, Alf Clausen, right there. Tell us a little bit about him, Mr.
Well, Alf Clausen came onto The Simpsons from Series 3 onwards. Any bit of memorable Simpsons music that, apart from the theme, which was by Denny Elfman, that you remember is from him, from the Land of Chocolate music to any of the songs from, I'm checking in.
He's checking in.
And he's been on for so long, but now he was recently fired from The Simpsons by Fox. Now, it was a big contentious issue because he took it to court because he claimed that Fox fired him because he had told them like the week before that he had Parkinson's disease, and this was an illegal firing. Turns out, as of this year, because it finally got resolved, that it was because he was illegally subcontracting his music work to his son and to other friends of his. So that was very unfortunate. But one of the things we want to do, of course, is definitely finish tonight with a tribute to him.
Yes. So now our evening has come to a close.
Woohoo! With a thorough reinterpretation of one of these musicals. And as Matt was mentioning before, one of the best ones, which of course is the musical version of A Streetcar Named Desire. So tonight, here are songs from Oh Streetcar, which of course, its title a parody from Oh Calcutta, an adult Broadway musical review.
Perhaps we are all a little mad, we who don the caps and bells and tread beneath the Piscini March. But tonight, you'll be transformed from dead-eyed suburbanites into white-hot grease fires of pure entertainment! Except you're not working out. I'll be playing your part.
Drag.
Long before the Superdome, where the Saints of football play, lived a city that the damned called home. Hear their hellish roundaway.
New Orleans, home of pirates, drunks, and whores. New Orleans, tacky, overpriced souvenir stores. If you want to go to hell, you should take a trip to the Sodom and Gomorrah on the Mississippi. New Orleans, stinky, rotten, vomiting, vile New Orleans, putrid, brackish, maggoty, foul New Orleans, crummy, lousy, rancid, and rank New Orleans.
What's the matter, honey? Are you lost?
I'm looking for my sister Stella.
It's Christian! Huh?
My name is Blanche Dubois. I thought my life would be a Mardi Gras, a never-ending party. Ha! I'm a faded southern dame without a dime.
I'm collecting for the Evening Star.
Come here. I want to kiss you just once, softly and sweetly on your mouth.
I am just a simple paper boy, no romance do I seek. I just wanted 40 cents for my delivery last week. Shall this bewitching floozy seduce this humble newsy? Oh, what's a paper boy to?
Stella, you're putting me through hell. Stella.
Oh, cool! Christian can fly!
I think it's supposed to symbolize his descent into madness.
Whoever you are, I've always depended on the kindness of strangers.
You can always depend on the kindness of strangers to buck up your spirits and shield you from dangers. A stranger's just a friend you haven't met. You haven't met. Streetcar!
Thank you very much for coming along to the Innes and Rob Lloyd 31st anniversary of the Simpsons first airing in Australia show. By that we mean Bob the Genius. You give the applause going for Mr. Matthew Hadgraft, Christian Bizzarri, Jacqueline Olensa, and for my co-star, Mr. David Innes. Mr. Rob Lloyd! We will be back later on in September with our next exciting project. Yes, we will bring back a famous hit of ours, Time Lord, and an improvised tale through space and time right here at the Butterfly Club. But as always, to finish off the best way we know how.
From sea to shining sea.
Thanks for coming along. And on the way out, don't forget to get some orange drink for the long ride home.